Hey, welcome to this Windows channel, and this is the tech news update for Friday, May 20th, 2016. A very late news update because of my tech guy duties. I had no time today to actually do my news bulletin, but now I've got a few minutes, so here we go. In our news update today, iOS 9.3.2, which is the latest update available to iPads and iPhones, is breaking iPad Pros. So if you have an iPad Pro, don't apply this update if you had it available. If you, of course, did not see it yet, Apple pulled it from iPad Pro. So if you have an iPad Pro, it won't be available. But for the rest of the devices, it seems to be okay. So you can update safely, apparently. It's interesting because this is, I think, the second update that bricks iPad Pros. So I don't know what's different in the iPad Pro from the rest of the devices, but kind of interesting. And maybe they'll be a little more careful because this is rather a big problem. Google Play Store has a really amazing idea. Starting July 2nd, when you purchase a app in the Google Play Store, you'll be able to share it with up to 6 family members. Now, this is a great idea because you know what? Some apps are great, but why have, people pay 4 or 5 times for an app because the wife wants it, and then the husband and the children? And this is actually a great idea, and I hope that Apple will also do the same with iOS apps. Look at these very interesting numbers here of mobile devices. So this is the number of units or the market share for each mobile operating system. This is really cool. Look at Android, really dominating. It's not just there. It's like the Windows of mobile, basically. Android devices, 78.8% in the first quarter of 2015. They're now 84.1% of the market share in the first quarter of 2016. Pretty interesting to see that, 5.3% jump basically. iOS, 17.9% market share first quarter 2015, down to 14.8%. We're saying that iPhones sales are down, iPad sales are not very good. And look at that, it shows here in the numbers. We see that Android's dominating everywhere, and iOS really far behind. These are global numbers, by the way. This is for the entire planet. Not if you look at the US market, it would be probably different, even though Android would probably still be leading. Windows Phone, from 2.5% market share first quarter 2015 down to 0.7. Very sad when you look at this. Very, very sad. And even with these bad numbers, they're number 3, which is kind of surprising. But then again, when you take out Android, iOS, and Windows, there ain't much of what really is the rest. BlackBerry's pretty much dead now. So interesting numbers when you look at this, and Android dominating really a lot. Other little numbers. This is the money, the amount of cash that each company has in its possession. So this is money that they could spend on something. Look at the tech companies. Apple, number 1 with more than $200 billion in the bank. Microsoft, almost $100 billion in the bank. Alphabet, which is the new Google side called Alphabet, 70 billion. Cisco, another tech company, at almost 60 billion. Oracle, 50 billion. The tech companies are really, really keeping a lot of cash. Pretty amazing when you look at that. Now, there's a mix of all sorts of companies here, but you could see that Apple, Microsoft, Google, basically, amazing the amount of money that they have in the bank that they could spend on something. Really interesting numbers. That is for sure when you look at that. Microsoft is changing its terms of services. You know, when you use a service like Outlook.com or any type of service from Microsoft, there is a terms of agreement or terms of service. Microsoft is rewriting all of its terms of services to include the fact that terrorists, to address basically the fact that there's terrorist content online and recruiting. Well, the new terms of services will say no, you cannot use our services for that type of activity, basically. So, it's more of a symbol than anything else, but it is nice to see that companies are taking a stand and saying, yeah, no to terrorism in every way that they can. Well, Google Assistant was announced, of course, at the Google I/O this week, and that is the way that they hope it's going to help you have a little more intelligence in what Google Voice and everything. But Microsoft is also working on its own assistant, calling the Bing Bot. Apparently, the Bing Bot is an equivalent to Google Assistant and will be eventually running and doing much more intelligent stuff and following you around. Once again, privacy concerns for a lot of people. So this was the tech news for Friday, May 20th, 2016. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy our videos and welcome back to our channel. Thank you for watching this late edition of the Tech News.